Okay, so today we have a really interesting case, thick brows, which sounds like a blessing, right? But honestly, when the hair is this dense and coarse, it can be a nightmare to work with. The hairs just go wherever they want. They stick out, they refuse to lay flat, and no matter how much brow gel you use at home, by lunchtime, everything is back to chaos. So the goal today is a full brow lamination using OKO products, and I am going to walk you through every single step. First things first, we always start with a deep cleanse, and I cannot stress this enough. This step is everything. A lot of people skip it or rush through it, but if you do not properly cleanse the brow hairs before lamination, the product simply will not penetrate the way it needs to. I am using the OKO Deep Cleansing Shampoo, and what it does is strip away all the natural oils, any makeup residue, skincare products, basically anything sitting on the surface of the hair. You want that hair completely bare and ready to absorb the lamination formula. Think of it like priming a wall before you paint. If you skip the primer, the paint does not stick properly. Same principle here. Now we move on to the first composition. This is where the magic really starts. The first product in the OKO lamination system breaks down the disulfide bonds in the hair. That sounds very scientific, but basically what it does is soften the internal structure of each hair so it becomes flexible and moldable. With thick brows like these, you really need that softening because the hairs have a very strong natural curl and growth direction. Without this step, you would be fighting against the hair instead of working with it. I apply it carefully with a brush, making sure every single hair gets coated. Now here is the part that separates a good brow artist from a great one: timing. You have to know exactly how long to leave that first composition on. Too short, and the hairs will not be soft enough to reshape. Too long, and you risk over-processing, which can make the hairs brittle. With thick, coarse hair like this, the processing time is a little longer than with fine hair. I am checking the elasticity constantly, gently bending a few hairs to see how they respond. When they feel pliable, but still have structure, that is the sweet spot. That is when you know you are ready for the next step. Time for the second composition, the neutralizer. This is what locks everything in place. It rebuilds those bonds we broke down earlier, but now the hairs are set in their new position. I brush everything into the direction I want, upward and slightly outward, and then apply the neutralizer. This is also where I really sculpt the shape. Every hair gets placed exactly where it belongs. And here is the thing that most people do not realize. Lamination is not just about making brows fluffy and brushed up. It is about creating a structure, a foundation that holds for weeks. When done right, your client wakes up every morning with perfect brows and zero effort. Alright, now that the lamination is done and the product is washed off, we move to correction. And honestly, this is one of my favorite parts. I start with wax, using a small wooden spatula to apply it precisely above and below the brow line. Waxing removes the bulk of unwanted hair quickly and cleanly. With thick brows, there is always going to be quite a bit of hair outside the desired shape. The key is to be bold enough to remove what needs to go, but disciplined enough to preserve that beautiful natural fullness. Nobody wants brows that look overplucked. That trend died in the early 2000s, thank goodness. After waxing, I switched to tweezers for the detail work. This is where precision really matters. Individual stray hairs, anything the wax missed, anything that disrupts the clean line of the shape, it all gets removed one hair at a time. I always tell my students, the tweezer is your finishing brush. It is how you go from good to flawless. And with thick brows, you have to keep stepping back and checking symmetry, because when there is a lot of hair to work with, even one or two misplaced hairs can throw off the whole balance. Now for the final touch, tinting. I am applying a brow tint that is just slightly darker than the client's natural color. The purpose here is not to drastically change the shade, but to fill in any sparse areas, add depth, and really make that laminated shape pop. When the hairs are all brushed up and uniform in color, the effect is incredible. It looks so full, so polished, yet completely natural. That is the whole point. You should look at these brows and think, wow, she has amazing brows. Not, wow, she just had a treatment done. And there you have it, the final result. Natural, well-groomed, harmonious brows that frame her face beautifully. This is what brow lamination should look like when it is done properly with quality products. These results will last her about 6 to 8 weeks. And the best part? Virtually zero maintenance. Just a little brow gel in the morning if she wants. But honestly, she probably will not even need it.